Hello friends, in this video we are going to see what are the measures of national income. Before watching this video, if you had watched the first video of this series 1.0 national income, it will be very useful for understanding some of the concepts which are explained in this video. So please watch that video. After that, on that continuation, you can watch this video. Measures of national income. In the previous video, we have seen what is national income, a brief introduction about national income, and what are the methods of estimating national income. In this video, we are going to see what are the measures of national income. Based upon different units, different measures, how the national incomes are calculated. First thing is gross domestic product. Gross means overall, it is including everything, and domestic means consumption or production within ourselves or within our home or within our country. Everything is to be considered as a domestic. Product is the final output. So what is the definition? Total market value of all final goods and services produced within the country during a given period of time, usually 1 year. Here important thing is within the country. What are all the earnings which are earned within the geographical boundary? Within the geographical boundary of a country is to be considered as gross domestic product. Here we do not consider the citizenship of the persons who are earning within the geographical boundary. Every person, he may be an Indian citizen or he may belong to any other country's citizen or something like that. All the persons, all the citizens as well as foreign nationals, earnings are calculated and they are included in estimating national income while we are measuring with the help of gross domestic product. So produce of resident citizens as well as foreign nationals who resides within the geographical boundary regions of a nation is included. Here the geographical boundary is only considered, not the citizenship of the person who are earning within the geographical boundary is considered. So in estimating GDP, only final marketable goods and services are considered. The value of intermediate goods is a part of the final goods and services and so is counted separately, as it amounts to double counting and exaggerates the value of output. For example, if we take a car is an output of a car manufacturing unit. In order to produce that car, the car manufacturing unit do not have all the parts required for making a car, right? Some of the parts they have to bought from the outside market. So for example, if tire is one of the parts of a car, so that tire and the tire is an output of another tire manufacturing company. So the car manufacturing company bought the tire from the tire manufacturing company for some price, right? That price is already included in the final value of the car which is produced by the car manufacturing unit. So if we count that value of the tire as a separate value of the final output value of the tire manufacturing company, that same price is also included in the car manufacturing company. So if we count separately, it will leads to double counting. Double counting automatically exaggerates the final output value of the national income, which are measured with the help of gross domestic product. So in order to avoid that confusion, only final marketable goods and services values are to be considered. The intermediate consumption values should not be considered while measuring national income with the help of GDP. This GDP, gross domestic product, can be nominal or real. It can be of two types. It may be a nominal GDP or real GDP. What is meant by nominal and what is meant by real GDP, we will see in the next slide. Nominal GDP. What is the definition? Current year production of goods and services valued at current year prices. We have seen that the total quantity of goods and services multiplied with the price value of that goods and services, the final value is considered to be as gross domestic product. Like that, if current year production of goods and services, current year's quantity of goods and services multiplied with current year prices of that goods and services, the final value, the final GDP obtained is considered to be as nominal GDP. In opposite to that, current year production of goods and services valued at base year price. That base year price is called as constant price. We can't multiply with current year price. Current year's quantity of goods and services is multiplied with the price of a base year. Price of the goods and services at a base year. That price is called as constant price. So the value obtained by multiplying current year production of goods and services with the price of base year, that is constant price, the final value is called as real GDP. So what does that base year means and why we need base year, we will see. To calculate and compare national income of various years, the national income is calculated with the reference to a particular year. This year is called as base year. We know that present year's quantity of goods and services multiplied with present year price, we will obtain the current year's GDP. But for all the years, the total quantities may also differs, as well as the price level also differs, right? So how can we compare how much growth is been happened from the previous year, or whether the real growth has happened or not? We can't conclude, right? Because both the different years price values and different years quantities are differing. They do not have a common base value. So in order to compare the two different datas, we have to have a common platform. For that, for comparing two different years GDP, we have to multiply those quantities produced in two different years with the common price. That the price of that particular year is called as base year price, and that price is called as constant price. So to calculate and compare national income of various years, the national income is calculated with reference to a particular year. That year is called as base year. In order to consider a base year, we have to abide some of the rules and regulations. What are those rules and regulations? A base year has to be normal year without large fluctuations in production, trade and prices of commodities in general. That year which we consider as a base year should not be a different year. Different year means it should not be a war affected year, or it should not be a natural disaster happened year or something like that, because on that particular year, if these abnormalities happen, means the price level also varies, and it do not gives us the correct values of the real prices of that particular year. So it should not be a different year. It should not be a year of large fluctuations. All the price levels of goods and services are considered to be in a smooth way, right? And reliable price data should be available for it. The price data obtained, or price data which are used for calculating GDP should be more reliable. It should be obtained from any registered or government registered organizations data or something like that, and that year should be as recent as possible, because the comparison year is much closer to the present year. We will get the clear picture of the current trends of the economy, right? So that base year should be as recent as possible. So these are the points which we need to keep in mind while taking a year as a base year. There is another term called GDP deflator. What is the necessity of GDP deflator? Means to find the overall rise in the level of price. So we are comparing each year price with base year price, right? So how much, if for example if 2006 is considered as a base year and 2016 is the present year, how much without the change in the quantities, without change in the quantity of goods and services, how much the price only increases from 2006 to 2016, that the price rise calculation is considered to be GDP deflator. So the formula for GDP deflator is nominal GDP by real GDP into 100. Nominal GDP is current year production of goods and services at current year price divided by current year production of goods and services at base year price. That value is called as GDP deflator. And another term, net domestic product, NDP. Before seeing this, let us take an example. If a salaried employee, the monthly income of that salaried employee is 25,000, means the 25,000 is gross pay, but all the 25,000 he is not obtaining on monthly basis. Some of the amounts is deducted for income tax, and some of the amount is deducted for provident fund, and if he availed any loans before, EMI should be paid based on that salary. So after getting all these deductions, the final original amount he is getting as the salary is considered to be as a net pay, right? Like that, the total values of final goods and services produced is called as GDP. In the total values, some of the incomes or some of the monies are spent for maintenance or some of the values for services or something like that. So that values are considered as a depreciation values. So depreciation means wear and tear of goods produced. If we take an example, that the car manufacturing company as example, the value of the car manufacturing company is based upon the final output of the car, right? In order to produce that car, in order to make that car, the machineries need to be serviced or maintained on an periodical basis, right? If some of the parts of that machineries is damaged, we have to replace that parts. So that replacement charges are considered to be as a loss for the manufacturing company owner, right? So like that, even though we are obtaining the total final value, some of the prices are uses for this depreciation. After deduction of that depreciation, the final original value we obtained is called as net domestic product. So net domestic product is nothing but GDP minus depreciation. Depreciation is wear and tear of goods produced. So for calculating nominal GDP, real GDP and GDP deflator, let us take an example. The base year is considered as 2004 and 5, and the price on that base year is called as constant price, is rupees 100. And national income for the year 2010 and 11, the total quantity produced on 2010 and 11 is 150, and the price of each quantity is 130 rupees. So the national income at current price, that is current year production of goods and services valued at current year price, is 150 into 130 is equal to 19,500, is the nominal GDP of 2010 and 11. And we can calculate real GDP. Real GDP is current year production of goods and services valued at constant price. So national income at constant price is equal to 150 into 100. Total quantity 150 is to be multiplied with the base year price, that is 150 into 100 is equal to 15,000. So nominal GDP of 2010 and 11 is 19,500 and real GDP of 2010 and 11 is 15,500. Like that, we can calculate the national income for 2011 and 12 next year. Total quantity is 140, price is 160. National income at current price is equal to 140 into 160, 22,400, which is nominal GDP of 2011 and 12. And real GDP, national income at constant price, is 140 into base year price. Base year price is 100. 140 is this year's total quantity. 14,000 is the real GDP of 2011 and 12. So before we have seen that in order to compare the two different years, GDP, we have to consider the real GDP as the base value, right? For example, if we consider nominal GDP of 2 years, 19,500 is the nominal GDP of 2010 and 11, and 22,400 is the nominal GDP of 2011 and 12. If we consider only this nominal GDP, we came into conclusion that real values of goods and services are increased in 2011 and 12 when compared to 2010 and 12. But that is not the reality. Only with the comparison of real GDP value, we came into conclusion that no real growth has happened, because 15,000 is the real GDP of 2010 and 11, and 14,000 is the real GDP of 2011 and 12. So while comparing the national income for both years, we can conclude that no real growth has taken place in 2011 and 12. The high income at current price is due to increase in the price level. The quantity wise the production decreases, but the price increases. So the higher income at nominal GDP is only due to the price level increase. It is not the real growth. Like so from based upon this example, we know the real value of real GDP, right? So GDP deflator is nothing but nominal GDP by real GDP into 100 for calculating overall price rise for a particular year from the base year price, right? So GDP deflator for 2011 and 12 is nominal GDP 22,400 divided by real GDP 14,000 into 100. We obtain 160 as the final price. We know that base year price is 100 and the current year price is 160. So 60 rupees is the price level increase from with the base value of base year. To calculate that price rise, we are having the formula GDP deflator. Gross national product. So in the previous slide we have seen that with the help of gross domestic product we can calculate national income, right? Like that, with the help of gross national product also we can calculate national income. It is one of the measures of measuring national income. What is the definition? Total market value of all final goods and services produced by the nationals of a country, that is citizens of a country, both within the geographical boundaries and outside. It means that all the output that the Indian citizen produce in a given year, the income of foreign nationals who resides within the geographical boundaries of the country is excluded. So in GDP, irrespective of the citizenship, we are calculating all the person's income within the geographical boundary. But here it is opposite to GDP. Here, irrespective of the physical boundary, the earnings of all Indians who are residing within the geographical boundary of the India, also the Indians who are engaging in economic activities all over the world. So total earnings of the Indian citizens irrespective of the physical boundary is considered as gross national product. In that gross national product, the earnings of foreign citizens within the geographical boundary need to be excluded. So gross national product is equal to GDP plus net factor income. Net factor income is X minus M. X is inward remittances of a country from the goods produced and services rendered by nationals of a country abroad. Inward remittances means incoming money to the country, that is foreign Indians who are residing in foreign nations and their earnings are sent to the country, that will be considered as inward remittances. These inward remittances have to be included with GDP. And outward remittances of a country from the goods produced and services rendered by foreign nationals of a country in domestic area. Outward remittances means outgoing money, that is foreign citizens who are all earning within the geographical boundaries, they are sending their incomes to their respective nations, right? That money need to be excluded. So while calculating GNP, we have to include the incoming money of the foreign residing Indians, and we have to exclude the foreign citizens who are residing within Indian boundary. Like in GDP, we have calculated NTP, right? Net domestic product is nothing but GDP minus depreciation. Like that in GNP, net national product NNP is equal to GNP minus depreciation. Depreciation is nothing but wear and tear of the goods and services produced. Factor cost and market price. Factor cost, it refers to the actual cost of various factors of production such as land, labor, capital, energy, raw material, etc. that are used to produce given quantity of output in an economy. For example, in order to produce a product, 4 factors of production are essential for producing that product, right? For availing those 4 factors of production, the producer has to pay some cost, right? So the cost spent for factors of production to produce a product is called as factor cost. If the production cost includes some of the money which are given in the form of donation by government, that money is also included, because that money is also used for producing that product, right? That has to be included. And government subsidies are also included. For example, if 1 kg of sugar is priced at 100 rupees, the government asks the producer to sell that sugar for 80 rupees in the market, so that poor people can afford that product. But if the producer sells that sugar for 80 rupees, he may face some loss, right? So in order to compensate that loss, government are giving that additional 20 rupees to the producer and ask him to sell 1 kg of sugar at 80 rupees. But the original price of 1 kg of sugar is 100 rupees, right? So in order to calculate that factor cost, that subsidized amount is need to be included. So 80 rupees plus 20 rupees is equal to 100 rupees. That 100 rupees is the factor cost of 1 kg of sugar. And it excludes indirect taxes. Taxes are paid only when the product enters into the market, so it needs to be excluded. So what is market price? It refers to the actual transacted price, and it includes indirect taxes like customs duty, excise duty, service tax, etc. When the product enters into the market, for buying that product, the consumer need to pay some taxes in the form of service tax, and for selling that product, the producer has to pay some taxes in the form of indirect taxes like customs duty for importing and exporting any of the products and services, and excise duty for producing any products, and service tax are paid by the consumers for receiving those products or services. So that everything is, these taxes is to be included with the market price. Market price is nothing but the actual transacted price, and it includes indirect taxes like customs duty, excise duty, and service tax. So GDP is a measure of national income. GDP at market price is nothing but GDP at factor cost. GDP at factor cost is the original cost of the product which are spent for factors of production plus indirect taxes, because it enters into the market, right? So indirect taxes are also included in that product, and subsidies need to be excluded, because when it enters into the market, the subsidized amount need to be excluded, right? So if it let us take an example which we saw before. The 1 kg of sugar, the production cost is 100 rupees. So GDP at factor cost is 100 rupees. When it enters into the market, it for making that product, if 4 rupees is considered as excise duty for producer, 100 rupees plus 4 rupees, 104 rupees, and for availing that product, consumer is paying 2 rupees as service tax, means 106 rupees is considered as the market price. And we have seen that 1 kg of sugar, when it enters into the market, 20 rupees need to be deducted from that product. That 20 rupees is given as subsidies by government, right? So 106 rupees minus 20 rupees, so 86 rupees is the final GDP at market value, is considered as the national income for entire country. So national income is calculated with the help of GDP at factor cost at constant prices. So GDP at factor cost is nothing but original cost of the product at constant prices. Constant prices means the prices which are calculated with the help of base year price, which we saw in the previous video. So we do not consider market price as the calculation for GDP. We are considering GDP at factor cost at constant price as the national income for our country. And per capita income is nothing but total GDP divided by total number of population, so that we can have a value of individual earnings of all the peoples. So per capita income is nothing but GDP minus mid-year population of corresponding year. And real per capita GDP, by calculating real per capita GDP, we can have we can have a clear data about the standard of living of individual persons in a particular country. So up to this, the national income measures are concluded. If you find this video useful, you can like this video and share it among your friends and family members. Please subscribe to this channel. If any doubts in this video or any suggestions or any corrections needed, please comment in the below section. Thank you.